Hi everybody, in this episode we are going to look at basically a brand new app from Amaran. So you can control all of your Amaran lights. We're running it on a Mac in this particular case. I believe there's a Windows version as well. But what's cool about this is you might think, well, why would you want to run it from your computer when you could run it from your phone or your tablet? Well, in this case you can connect a Streamdeck and control it. So that's why I say this is basically like a very inexpensive or very affordable DMX system. What's DMX? DMX is typically when you go to a theater or any sort of venue where they do lighting effects on stage, they have a DMX system, and that DMX light board can control all of the stage lights and create all these different scenes and things like that. So this is something that is essentially mimics that in a very kind of simple way, but it's pretty cool. Let me show you a few things here. So from the app, for example, I can go to a separate scene here, what I would call my low-key scene. I can go to my regular scene, switch back and forth between those. I can control pretty much anything. So I can turn all of the fixtures off at once. I have a separate one back there that's not one of my Amaran lights, but I can turn them all on at once as well. I can control all of the different effects. So here is one called Lavender. And I can control all of these things. So it's really nice. I can do it from the app itself. I can go to the color temperature mode. Here with my key light, I'm now on 3200 Kelvin, 4000 Kelvin, 5600 Kelvin. So changing my white balance. I can control the green magenta balance here. And incidentally, this is an Aputure light. So it can control not only Amaran lights, but also any of the Sidus Link capable Aputure lights. This Amaran desktop app is a little bit more geared towards people who don't have experience with a DMX system, so it's a little bit more simplified. So for example, for these different, what I would normally call scenes, they're actually calling them shortcuts. So here's my low key shortcut, and here's my high key shortcut. And once I set these up, I can modify them as well. So I can just come into here, come to edit, and I can come in here and change the parameters on any of the individual lights in whatever way I want to. Change the intensity, change the color temperature, change the, if it's an RGB light, change the hue, change the saturation, or just use some of these presets for colors if I wanted to do that as well. So you've got lots and lots and lots of options. The options are almost limitless. You can also run all of the effects. So if you're using some of the lights that have different effects, so here, for example, I set this up actually on the Streamdeck here. Let's do the fire effect with my key light. So there's the fire effect. I can also go in and change any of the parameters here. I can go to a more natural instead of something that's so warm, maybe a cooler fire. Again, not quite so warm. Change maybe the frequency, slow it down some, speed it up again if I have a raging fire. So I can do a lot of different things there. I can even stop it. And of course, I can go back to my main preset very quickly. Now, there are a few things I've noticed here that are interesting about this, and it could be this is refined. I'm using a beta version here at the time of this recording. So I will notice, for example, when I switch between these things, there's not necessarily you can't define the transition of the lights. So you'll notice here from my key light, when I change to this regular scene here, this sort of my normal exposure, and go to and then when that actually ramped up the key light, but when I go to the low key, it's like it jumps down. It pops down quickly, and then the background actually takes longer to transition to its colors. So it's not perfectly synchronized on all of them. Maybe that has to do with the dimming curve, I'm not sure. But you'll notice when I come back to this primary, I'll call it a shortcut here, it kind of jumps, the key light jumps. So it transitions down, but then it jumps immediately back up. So less of a transition that you don't have control of yet, and perhaps they'll add that in the future, I don't know. But pretty cool so far. There is also this other feature here. There's this live view. And with this live view, I can go ahead and set it up so that I can actually have a camera here so I can see what it's going to look like. In this case, it's just using the webcam on my MacBook here. But you could also set it up to use the camera on your phone, for example. So if you come in here, for example, you can choose which camera. And I could also use my phone camera as well. So if I wanted to set that up, that's pretty cool. So that's how you do that live view. And I can turn that back off right here. This is cool if you have someone operating the Amaran desktop who is your lighting designer. Not necessarily the person on camera, but you can do it if you're the person on camera as well. So that's a quick overview. I just thought this was pretty cool, something that you can do fairly affordably, especially if you've already got a Stream Deck. You can get the Amaran app. We'll put the link to get that down below. If you've got Amaran lights, fantastic little addition. Get out there, make some great light designs. We'll talk to you again soon.